So Leamington's wide artistic and cultural landscape has been widened further still with the launch, or perhaps relaunch, of a regular folk music evening, Foak at the Oak, curated by folk duo Harper's Dove. And I'm sat with Ruth Noble and Campbell Perry, who are Harper's Dove, to find out what it's all about. Welcome both to Life in Lem.
Thank you.
Hello, thank you very much.
So, Campbell, why start up this folk evening, or should I say restart it after many years?
Well, when I was in my late teens, 16, 17, I started to go to the original Heart of England Folk Club in Leamington, which was at the Fox and Vivian pub. I mean, obviously I wasn't really old enough to go, but I used to bunk off school on a Friday afternoon to learn a couple of songs to go and sing there.
So when would this have been then?
This was about 1964.
And Heart of England Folk Club, that perished at some point, did it?
In the 70s, yes. But I mean, it was a massive influence on me. I was absolutely sold on folk music. Introduced me to Woody Guthrie, Bob Dylan, and a lovely man called Ron Shuttleworth, who died quite recently, who used to come to the club, who was just a phenomenal singer of traditional songs. In fact, his son is still around, Jack. He plays harp and concertina.
That sounds quite complicated to do that, doesn't it?
I don't think he does them at the same time. But that was really my huge influence in life.
So that finished then like 50 years ago then.
No one's quite sure exactly when it closed. We've tried to find out, but yeah, it's lost in the midst of time. Unfortunately, no social media to record it all. You see.
Thank goodness in most cases. And so why dust it down 50 years later?
Because I think it left an impression on me as a young man that I've never forgotten, and I thought it would be so nice to have a club like that again if we could do it. But I'm just delighted that we can relaunch a club.
Fantastic. So I mean, Ruth, you're relatively new. You were telling me to singing, but I mean, in terms of folk music as a genre, what's the magic of it, do you think?
Well, I always tell people that I'm in it for all the misery. I find it very cathartic singing about people that were having a worse time than us. But that aside, what I love about it really is the connection to the past. These are often the traditional songs. They're songs that have lasted for hundreds of years and people still want to sing them. A lot of them have got cracking tunes, just wonderful to sing. And I feel a sense of connection to the culture and the history of this country when I sing those songs. So that's sort of what I love about traditional folk. And obviously it's any song you love is lovely to be able to stand up and sing and interpret it as well. So we sometimes put folky twists on more modern stuff, and I'm very lucky that I get to work with Campbell and sing the songs that he writes as well.
So Campbell, you've been doing folk man and boy, and as Ruth mentioned, just write as well as perform. Yeah. What's folk music for you?
Same as Ruth, really. It's that connection with the past, and also that lovely feeling that people who sang those songs maybe 200 years ago were experiencing probably the same emotions as I'm feeling as I'm singing them now. And it covers the years, and it kind of resonates now as it did then. And they are the story of ordinary people. They're not really the story of kings and queens or political things. They're about the lives of people long ago who had very difficult lives, some of them, and some of the songs they wrote and the tunes they wrote, which nobody knows who they are, survived all those years. And there are some beautiful songs out there. I wish I'd written them.
So Folk at the Oak, I really enjoyed the evening. It was such terrific diversity of different performances, different styles, different instruments. Just give us a sense of the scope of what folk includes then, Campbell.
Well, at its raw level, it's unaccompanied. People sing without any instruments at all. But all the other instruments, guitars, fiddles particularly, banjos. I also play the piano accordion, and I'm not frightened to use it.
There's a threat and a promise just built in there together. So in terms of the performers that were there on the first night, just give us an idea of who was there and what sort of music we were hearing.
Well, Liz was the first person up on stage, Liz Wall. She's a singer-songwriter. Then we had the Boat Rats, yes. Well, John and Jimmy, John is a very fine banjo player. And there aren't that many Appalachian banjo players around. And Jimmy, his son, plays guitar for him. And John's been playing for a while. So that's a little bit different. Most people haven't really heard that kind of music. They're familiar with bluegrass, but Appalachian stuff is quite different. And the Threepenny Bits, of course, are pure tradition. They never have accompaniment. They sing in three-part harmony. Some of their songs go back to sort of the 1600s. And then the band of Rack and Ruin, mixed band. They're very mixed. They can play all different styles of music. So in terms of variety, I think the evening was very varied. And what we want to do is keep the variety so that we can encourage male and female solo artists, duos and bands. So we would really like them to come and sing.
And this is a shout out, isn't it? Not just for people to come and join in the audience, but for people to potentially come and perform in future as well.
Yes, it is. We would like that. So that's the aim. And we also, within that, would really like to get people from other communities in Leamington. There's a Portuguese community, Ukrainian, Polish, Asian. We would love some of their musicians to come and play traditional music in their own languages from those communities.
That would be an amazing evening, wouldn't it?
Wonderful.
Really would. And so Harper's Dove yourselves, you performed on the first evening as well. Ruth, how did Harper's Dove come to be?
Well, I like to embarrass Campbell by saying that he picked me up in a bar. This is true, but it was technically in the interval of a Warwick Folk Club night. And he'd seen me sing, heard me sing, and liked my voice and the way that I had interpreted a traditional folk song. And he said, I've got a couple of songs that need a second voice on them. Would you be interested in working with me? And I thought okay, I'll try that out. And then that quickly turned into a slightly longer list of songs. And then how about if we actually formally form a duo together? So we did that, and we picked the name Harper's Dove, which is the Har bit comes from my maiden name, and the Per bit comes from Campbell's surname. And then the dove is a symbol of peace and hope, and it was in that very first song that he asked me to work on. So that's how we got our name.
The other thing that was interesting for me there, having been to the first one, was the audience. There seemed to be a few folk stalwarts in there, but also quite a lot of folk that were new to folk, if I can say it that way. Was that your sense of the crowd?
Yes, very much so. There were not many people in the audience that I knew, which is, I think, a good sign.
We were also really pleased. It meant a lot to us that people from our folk community travelled from as far away as Leicester and North Warwickshire in order to come and be with us that night, including people that run folk clubs themselves. So it was a lovely mix.
It was. And I guessed probably about 50 people in the audience, something like that. In terms of your expectations for a first outing, how did that compare with what you were hoping for?
I think it was probably more than we anticipated. I thought it was a brilliant start. We've just got to keep it going now.
We were absolutely delighted. We had such lovely feedback from our performers as well.
And I absolutely sensed that as well. I sensed the connection between the performers, which was lovely, and between the performers and the audience. And you could see everyone was just really having a really lovely time. So the first one's under your belts now. What's next for Folk at the Oak?
Well, the next one will be much the same in terms of variety. We are trying always to mix genres and styles, and also
the lineups. We've got a band, we've got a duo, we've got a female solo artist and a male solo artist, haven't we?
Yeah.
But they are all different people that you haven't seen before. So we're trying to get that mixture of styles and lineups, and a new set of 4 people each month.
And so, Campbell, you've chosen Oak House, which is in Upper Holly Walk, to host these 4 weekly events. I'd not come across that as a venue before. Tell us a little bit about Oak House.
Well, we have a singing coach, and she invited us to come along and do a sort of guest spot there. And that's the first time we'd been there. And then they asked us if we would like to start a folk club there. So that's how it all started, and Oak House have been incredibly supportive all the way through this. We couldn't do this without them.
And it is ticketed on Eventbrite, but it's free, isn't it?
It is.
That's right. Just to make sure that we don't, have people needing to stand at the back. We are limiting the numbers of tickets that can be reserved. But yes, they are free.
So it's every 4 weeks you're running them. When's the next one?
26th of May.
And every 4 weeks thereafter.
Yes.
Then it's the 23rd of June and the 21st of July. Then we're having a little break for the summer.
And these are all Tuesdays, right?
They are Tuesday nights, yeah. Doors at 7, starting at 7:30.
So if someone is interested in joining the audience for the next session, where do they find out more?
Well, our main place is on our Facebook page, and we also have an account on Eventbrite, which has details of the lineup and obviously the ability to reserve free tickets on there.
And I'll include the links to both of those in the blurb that goes along with the podcast. And Campbell, you mentioned earlier you're really keen to have people that want to try their hand at performing, particularly if they've come from different cultures. What should they do if they want to get in touch?
Well, I think they should contact us through email. Also, in September, we're going to start sing-around sessions. Now, that would be a perfect opportunity for them to come along and bring their music with them into that before we then move on into a performance on the performance nights. But I think if they want to come along first and perform live at a sing-around with a lot of other people doing their own thing, that would be great.
So congratulations on hopefully the first of many Folk of the Oak sessions. You can grab a free ticket from Eventbrite and try it out. In the meantime, Campbell, Ruth, thank you so much.
Thank you
Tim.
much. Thank you, Tim.